Hello and welcome to my monthly wrap up where I talk about everything this month. So I normally start with life updates. So the month of September overall was a good one for me. It was definitely a much needed break from, trauma and drama and illness. So for that, I am super thankful. I basically started the month with a 3-day water fast to try and put a few of my autoimmune conditions into remission, and it did work. And after the fast, I felt amazing. I actually had spoons and energy, and so I decided to spend the rest of the month focusing on gaining muscle mass. So I decided to bulk and lift heavy a couple of times a week, and I have been doing that, and I've actually made gains. I've actually made strength gains. So I'm really, really pleased. I'm hoping that obviously putting on the muscle, especially around my rib area, will reduce the future occurrences of things like rib subluxations and dislocations and pain and all that sort of jazz. So far so good. I have been consistent and I am enjoying the process of cultivating mass bro. I completed my Goodreads reading challenge, so I set it to 350 books and I have surpassed that. I think I'm sitting on 400 books read this year so far. That includes DNFs, so books that I only read half of and then decide to discontinue reading. So I don't know how many books in full I have read out of that amount, but I did complete my Goodreads reading challenge. I also completed my Oracle deck, and I had originally started this with make playing cards and I was 95% done when I discovered Game Crafter. So I thought I'm just going to finish it and make playing cards, and that'll be my personal deck. So I did finish it, but then after getting the guidebook and reading through it, I realized that I didn't get all of the errors that I thought I had got with my proofreading. So I am going through it, editing it again, and then I have to reformat everything to put it on Game Crafters because the sizing is just completely different, especially for the guidebook. The guidebook in Make Playing Cards fits the tarot size, so you can put it in the box, whereas on Game Crafters, the Perfect Bound book is bigger. It does not fit in the box, so I have to redo the whole structure and format because I upload these as JPEGs, so I have to redo all the JPEGs. But I'm hoping to get that printed this month. Hopefully, if I receive it this month, which I probably won't because it's Game Crafter, I'll list it up on the website, but I have a feeling my Oracle deck won't be ready to do a walkthrough with until probably early November. I went to a book club at the library. So that was the first time I ever went. We discussed the book Lessons in Chemistry, which is about to be a television series on Apple, I think. And it was nice. The ladies were absolutely lovely. I was definitely the youngest person there. The age range of the ladies were between 50 to 90 years of age. So it tends to attract a retired female crowd. So they were all lovely and sweet, and it was interesting to have a chat about the book with them in person. I won't go regularly, but every now and again I might pop in for a little chat about books. But that was my first book club that I went to in person. The only other change in September was that we found an applicant for Willow. They are literally coming tomorrow. I haven't done well with that. So this month I've been processing a lot of grief. The end of it has been a bit bittersweet. Obviously happy to hopefully get Willow a forever home, and absolutely heartbroken that she'll be leaving us. I can't talk about it, otherwise I'll start bawling. So I'll talk about it once I'm in a better place and I can see that maybe she's going to be staying there and not returning to me, because sometimes it doesn't work out and she might come back to me. So I don't know how it's going to pan out, but that was something that did happen in September. My daughter's birthday was also in September. We went and saw The Haunted Mansion, which I'll talk about in a second, but yep, she turned 12 and that was really a lovely, lovely time. So that is pretty much all my life updates. Okay, now on to things I watched and consumed. So with TV, I watched season 2 of Good Omens and I enjoyed it. It wasn't amazing, but it's still Good Omens. It's just one of those things. It doesn't matter if it's a shitty season, if it's a show that you like. In general, I'm gonna like it. I don't watch a lot of TV, so therefore having that to watch was lovely. I will still continue with the series if it continues on. But I liked season 1 a bit more than season 2. But yeah, that was Good Omens. And I also watched One Piece. So I watched about, I think, 3 episodes. And even though, oh my God, it's the dude with the 3 swords. I've forgotten his name, but that actor is stunning. He is definitely very nice to look at with your eyes. Gorgeous, gorgeous specimen of a human being. Even though he was very attractive in that, it's not enough to keep me watching the rest of the show. So I thought the casting was great. I think they nailed it with who they chose as the main One Piece characters. But I found the show itself really boring. And look, I am a bit of a romance girly, so I like to have romance, and I know One Piece does not have romance. So yeah, I will not be continuing with One Piece. Okay, then I saw Haunted Mansion, which was really good, to be honest. I wasn't expecting much from it, but I really enjoyed it. So I thought the casting was phenomenal in this, like really just spot on. It had a lot of humor, which I enjoyed. It is PG, and the issue I had with it was that I'd taken a bunch of 11 and 12-year-old girls to see it, and I felt like the horror elements in it were a little too scary for a PG rating. So some of the girls were a little traumatized after watching it, and I felt awful because I should have probably gone and seen it myself before taking a bunch of other people's children to watch it. That's my bad. But yeah, I think PG, when it comes to horror elements, it's like, well, what kind of horror elements does that mean? So, but overall, I thought it was actually really good. I thought, do they really need to redo this? But they did it well. They did it well. Then I watched You Were So Not Invited to My Bar Mitzvah, which was a movie on Netflix by Adam Sandler with his daughters in it. My 12-year-old ate this up. She just felt it was completely relevant, it was accurate, and she resonated with it, even though she's not Jewish. So I, as an adult, I still enjoyed it. I thought it was funny, I thought it was well done, but yeah, my 12-year-old just adored it, and it's probably made it a bit of her personality. So that was a good laugh out loud kind of movie about girls going into teenagehood and growing up and all that jazz. And then we watched Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Look, the best part of this movie for me was Rachel McAdams, because I think she's absolutely beautiful and a goddess, and I'll watch anything she's in. But the movie itself was a bit boring, and my 12-year-old also thought it was a bit boring. It's, the coming of age story, getting your period and growing up and things in that vein. But yeah, it was a bit meh. It was a bit of a meh movie. I also watched the movie Strays. Wow. Okay, so yeah, it's from the producers of Ted. It's about some stray dogs, voiced by like Will Ferrell, for instance, and it's R-rated, so it's a lot of swearing and cussing, and it looks like it's a kids movie. It's not a kids movie, don't make the mistake. I saw a poster for it, didn't see the rating on there. I was like, a movie called Strays with dogs with Will Ferrell. Must be a children's movie. Kids, let's watch this trailer. We got 5 seconds into it, and then one of the characters was dropping F-bombs, and I was like, okay, no, Mummy's going to go turn it off. So look, I had some parenting fails this month. But yeah, it was okay. It wasn't as funny as I was anticipating. I really liked Ted, and I was expecting the same amount of laughs, but less laughs. So it was okay. It was an average movie. In regards to books, I read 67 books this month. That's the largest amount of books I've ever read in a month. Despite that fact, I did not get a single 5-star. So no 5 stars were to be had. The highest rated book was a 4.75, and that was the book Delphi, which takes a look at a middle-aged woman during the pandemic, sort of going through life, but through the lens of different mancies. So each book has a different mancy, like cartomancy, taromancy, and neuromancy. So all these ways of divination. It also had a lot of Greek mythology interspersed within it, and I just really enjoyed it. So that was Delphi. For music, I've listened to 3 new songs this month. The first one is by Måneskin, and it's called Honey, Are You Comin'? And I love it. Look, Måneskin's my favorite band at the moment, and so anything that they release, I'm probably going to stan it, and I stan this one. So I've been jamming out to that a lot, like a lot. Then I listened to Paint the Town Red by Doja Cat, because it's a bit of a bop, and I enjoy it. And the other one I listened to was Other Boys, with Dove Cameron, and I really like Dove Cameron. Got a bit of a crush on her. I think she's rad. And yeah, I liked that song of hers that she did. I think it was a collaboration. So those are the 3 songs that I have listened to this month. For food, I made 2 really yummy things that are worth mentioning. So one of them was the maple apple crisp, which is sort of supposed to be like a breakfast dish, and it was from the Moon Cycles cookbook, and it was just really Moorish and yummy. and delish, and just like perfect for the last of like the wintry weather that we had. And then I made a lemon meringue pie for my daughter's birthday because that's her favorite. Sorry, Willow's going nuts. Lemon meringue pie, and it was really good. I made it with a graham cracker crust. I think Americans say graham, but Graham, I don't know how you say it. Graham cracker crust. And it was yum. It was good. I liked it. The lemon curd was spot on. I think that one has a recipe. If it does, I'll link it down below. With my garden, I started the tidy up. I just let it go all through winter. My ex-boyfriend, who was helping maintain it, started his own gardening business, so he was no longer around. And turns out I just couldn't do it. I didn't do it. I probably could have done it, but I chose not to. So I decided, with the help of my mum and my dad and my brother, we got into it. So we've started to make some progress. I'm going to do a little video on a proper before and after, but I'll just put a picture up before and after. So yeah, we have managed to tidy up. I have planted a wildflower, I'm trying to make a wildflower meadow in half of my front yard because I don't need that much grass to sit on. So I'm trying to just have a field of flowers. So we'll see how that goes. I did seeds, not bulbs, for the area, and that may or may not work. We will find out. Okay, so now we're going on to purchases. So I really got into stationery this month, and I decided to get myself a new diary, and I was looking and watching everybody's videos, and I was like, what do I get? So what I decided to do, I decided to go with this is a Cocoa Note planner. It's a big boy. I like a day to a page. I'm a day to a page girly. It comes with like stickers as well, which I think is great. Like, who doesn't want some stickers? It comes with things like maps, and you write your goals, what your goals are, what your adventure plans are, your travel plans are. At the start of every month, they have a habit tracker there, which is nifty. And then they'll have a flower for that month. And you know, I'm a sucker for flowers. And then the day to a pages look like this. I'll show you in a second. So up the top, you've got like a little mood tracker, and then you can put some goals, and then it's got grid paper, which I prefer grid. And yeah, so I've decided to go with, this one for my daily planner. Look, with me, I think the idea of, so digital journaling makes complete and utter sense to me. It really does. I'm like, that makes sense to do that. And I went and got an iPad and Procreate and GoodNotes and Notion and all that stuff. And I really tried. I try to make a go of it, but it turns out I really don't like going on tech. I spend 8 hours a day on a computer because of my job, and I don't want to touch technology otherwise. So whenever I'm not working, I'm reading or crocheting or doing something with my hands. I wasn't going to them. I wasn't going on them. And so I just can't do digital. It's not for me. I just don't like going on technology. So I am with the paper. So I have gotten a yearly planner. And then for my diary, I ended up going with the Midori MD. So I've just chosen a day to a page. This is how I've decorated it. There's some stickers I got from like tarot and stuff. And it's the cream with the dot grid, and you can rip these off at the end. And I got a case to go with it because like these covers aren't like super sturdy. So I got this little fuzzy, soft, furry case to slip it into to protect it, because I love sensory stuff. I think going forward though, so I would just combine the two. I'd probably get the Midori, this size, I think, what is this size? Is it A5? I think it is. It's slightly smaller than A4. I would get this size, I'd get the day to a page, and I would just do both in it. So I would use it as my planner, like writing all my appointments and stuff in it, and as my diary, instead of having two separate things. I think I'd like to combine them. I went with the Midori in the end over the Hobonichis because I didn't like all the text in the Hobonichis, and they had a lot of different text colors, and it was too distracting for me. So I think next year going forward, I'll just combine my planner with my personal diary and just do it all in the one thing. So I did get those. My brother bought me this donut mug, which is just, it's right up my alley, especially strawberry iced sprinkle donuts are probably one of my favorite donuts. So I love it. It's big. I need big mugs. People that have small mugs, I don't know how you do it. I want to have like almost half a liter when I have a tea, as much as possible. So I love this mug. I also bought some lingerie because Honey Birdette was having a sale. So why not? So I got some very spring, summery kind of knickers because we're heading into, well, we're in spring. So I thought, oh, let's just get some bright and colorful things because I have so much black and red. It's the majority of my closet. So I went for all these like fun colors. They're all like Brazilian cheeky cut because that's my favorite. But yeah, like they're super cute. They're super bright. A little bit of fun, you know, and they were cheap compared to, you know, how much they normally. I love the jewels. I love everything that has like got a lot of ties and lace. A lot of ties and lace. I also got these $10 for some nylon stay-ups. I know that I'll wear them once and I will tear them, but for that very special occasion, you know, it's worth it for $10. I also got some book crate. I also got some books. This one, oh my gosh, is this Fairy Loot or Luma Crate? I can't remember, but that's the cover. It's got these beautiful sprayed edges, which I'm just such a sucker for a sprayed edge. And let me show you the cover. So, like, how gorge is that? And it's also got like an internal book cover, and then it's also got end papers. So I show them in detail on my book channel, but these came in. Oh, I also bought a fancy pen. I'll put a picture of the one I got. I can't remember what it's called because I thought, okay, I've got new stationery. I might as well get myself a quality pen. So I'll put a picture up here of which pen I decided to grab. And I also got myself some makeup. I know I'm sitting real low, but my knees are killing me. I always have to sit on my knees for this one. I'll see if I can tilt it. That'll do. It's not the best angle, I'm aware. I'll change it in a second. I got some makeup. I haven't bought makeup in years and years, but I decided I'm going to go to Italy next year, Italy and London. So I got this Italian spritz. This is from Too Faced, and it's got bright colors because I tend to only have neutrals. So I thought I'd have some fun with this. And yeah, so I got myself some makeup. So now we'll go on to crochet and tarot decks for this month. I'll go top down. I did make myself a cardigan. You'll see how that went. Won't be doing that again, but I'll see you in the next portion of this video. Okay guys, so we are on to the crochet and deck portion. So I'm going to start with the cardigan that I made that you'll see in the videos up above. So I made this out of mulberry silk. My damn ass thought that mulberry silk was like a vegan silk made from mulberry trees. I know. I don't know why, but I thought, oh, it's vegan silk. No, it's real silk. So anyway, I'd already bought them and I thought, what am I going to do with them? Bags made out of silk tend to be a bit too drapey. They don't have their firmness. So I thought I'd make a cardigan. And I did. I made a cardigan and I don't like it. I just don't like it. Did I plan it in terms of the colors and everything else? No, I did not. I did not plan it whatsoever. I just crocheted. And it came out how it came out. But I don't like it. It's heavy. So I think instead I'm going to undo it all and make a, what do you call it? A little house dress, little house slip to potter about in. Oh, hey, Bluebell, lying on my stuff. So that was a failure. I also learned that I don't like doing big projects. I really don't. I get real bored real quick and they're not enjoyable. So I need smaller projects that I have a, you know, pretty short time until I get to the completion of it. That makes me happy and that chills me out. So big stuff like that is a no-go unless I can piecemeal it, do a small portion at a time and then sew them all together. But anyway, you live, you learn. So doing cardigans, not for me. So let's have a look at the decks and the bags that I used this month. So we'll start with this little baggie here. So this is in feather stitch and I quite like feather stitch. It's real cushy, it uses up a lot of yarn. So I tend to only use it for small bags now. So I'll go up close. This is Great Southern Yarn, which I don't think exists anymore, but they were fantastic. They're an Aussie yarn maker, supplier, dyer. And it was in the color Sea Wave in DK. So I'll just leave that there. So I just chose one that just had a whole bunch of primary colors in it. It's not like an exact match to this deck. And this deck being Sappho's Fragmented Oracle, which I sort of edged in a pink. Doesn't take color that well, this deck. But yeah, this deck has a lot of primary colors in it. That's why I went for it. So this deck is a sapphic deck. It's got Sappho's, parts of Sappho's poetry quoted on the cards. And it is a sort of mixed medium collage style deck with a lot of, you know, Renaissance art and more vintage looks. I love this deck. I really do. I wish it came with a physical guidebook, but it doesn't. But I printed the little guidebook into itty bitty cards to fit in here. They're very short but sweet. I love the meanings, so I do like them. I do look them up every time. And I just fell in love with this deck. I love using it. It's just fun. I normally use it as sort of like the final like sentence of a reading, so to speak, you know, the closing statement. But in the beginning, I was just using it all the time for no reason whatsoever. You know, I just wanted to play with it and be like, what else are you going to say to me today? I want to listen to more of your words and see more of your pictures. I was a bit besotted with it. So some of them I don't love as much. Like this one's quite modern. Some of the modern ones I find a bit jarring. So this, you know, is a mixed bag in terms of, I don't really love this particular card, but this one I do, yada, yada, yada. But I do love all the quotes. I think they're cool. I love the little piecemeal kind of nature of them. A daring person, my friends. But yeah, this one, I do like the artist style, but this is the only one of their decks I think that they actually wrote a guidebook for. And it does make it more usable than just if that's all I had, you know, waiting in sacrifices. So you might be able to like intuit what that means to you and have some sort of association with the Beatles or the person wearing a deer skin. But in case that doesn't do anything for you, they've written necessary and starting over, moving beyond. So you know what I mean? It's a bit more distinctive in that regard. But I just really like the cardstock. I don't love the backs. I really don't like them. I just don't think that they go with the rest of the deck. They're a bit odd. They're a bit, I don't know. I don't even know what you call this, but this is reminds me of something. I don't think it's to do with Windows, but it reminds me of something to do with software for some reason. So I don't love it, but I do love this deck. And it was a big surprise. I took a big gamble on it and the gamble paid off. Okay, so here is the next one. So this bag is in Obsession yarns in 8-ply. I did a Trinity stitch, which is now, I'm going to be honest, it's become my favorite bag stitch, and a lot of future bags I probably will do in Trinity, but I don't have this stitch memorized, like how to start it. So if I'm just sitting on the couch with my kids, I don't do it. I'll just do a Suzette or 11 peel. But hopefully eventually I memorize how to start off this stitch. And that way it can be, all my bags can be Trinity stitch pretty much, because I just do love it, and I love the way it showcases the color of the yarn. So this yarn is also called Hokkaido crane. That's what it's called. Hokkaido crane. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry, guys. So this is the Primordialis deck. This was a Kickstarter deck, and this book is fantastic. It is real in depth. It's got reflections. It's got rituals. It's great. It's fantastic. It's well written. It is well done. It's beautiful quality. I'll just move that aside. These are the cards. I did not edge these ones. I just felt like, no, I can't edge them. They need to stay white. The back has spot gloss on it. I don't love the image personally. I get why, Primordialis, obviously, but I just don't love it. So this is a limited color palette deck. It's red, white, and black. It's got a very modern feel kind of to me in terms of the artwork. It's very crisp. It's got the title of the card and then one keyword on it as well. So if you don't want to read the guidebook, you don't need to, but this is one of those decks where it's like, I use it for the guidebook. You know, this is one of those decks that I tend to use on its own or just with one other deck only, because it's such a hearty meal. It's a lot to digest with reading it. It's quite powerful. It's more heavy on the spiritual work for me rather than it's the divination. It's more to do with, you know, therapy and connection and healing and divinity and all that jazz, all that esoteric kind of scorpionic themes with this deck. I do like the artwork, so I do like it. Not so much this, more this. It's got spot gloss on it too, which is beautiful. It is a rose petal finish, but it shuffles beautifully. It is just outstanding quality. It is really great quality. This was a big risk for me. I was like, oh, I don't know. And I'm glad I bit the bullet. So I think I was pretty stunned by my very first reading of it. I was like, wow, okay, I need to listen back to that because I recorded it for my walkthrough. Whenever I do my flip throughs, that's the first time I'm seeing the deck. I always unbox and record, and so therefore that reading that I do is the very first reading that I've done with that deck. And after I finish recording, that's when I do the deck interview and start working with it. But yeah, this one, look, I did not use it every day. Like I said, it's very in-depth to me, but I do love it. It's definitely got a Persephone kind of feel. I've sort of put it with my Persephone decks, and I'm thinking of using it in that way, making it a bit more of a devotional deck, because I think it fits well with, I did pair it with my tarot deck, but I think this would also go well with things like probably Citadel, like anything that's got black, white or red, would pair well. But yeah, this was very surprising. I'm glad I went ahead and purchased this on Kickstarter. I know this is probably not going to be one of those super popular decks. It's not for everyone, but for me, it was outstanding. Okay, so next up, this is Feather Stitch, once again. And I forgot to do a buttonhole. I totally forgot to do it. And yeah, like I said previously, I'm not someone like wants to undo their work and do it again. I'm done, So I've just jammed it through, but I'll just show you the back before I flip it over again. So this particular, oh my gosh, my words escape me today. I think I'm a bit sun drunk because we've got a beautiful day of sunshine today, but the next week ahead, it's all cold and rainy again. So last warm spring day for a week, I wanted to soak it up. So this yarn, I don't know what it is. The person didn't put the label when they wound it. And in the beginning, when I purchased a lot of my yarns, I actually didn't keep an index of them. I didn't record them. I do now. Whenever I buy a yarn, I write an email with the yarns I bought and photos so I know what yarn it is. But unfortunately, this was in my original mass haul and I don't know what it is, but it's beautiful, it's cushy, it's soft. So in here, I've got the Hidden Cosmos Oracle. This is not an exact match, but it's the closest thing that I had. So this is the guidebook. It's a big font, guys. So if you have trouble with small font, this book's got you, boo. So this has both the meanings of the cards and recipes. So every card is a recipe. So you've got like a little, sentence here, and then you've got a question to ponder. And at first when I got this, I was like, oh no, like this is going to be shite. I judged it immediately, and I'm like, bright and sunny, citrus vinegar cleans away the detritus in your physical environment. What cobwebs do you need to clear in your mind and relationships, and what fresh new energies might open up when you do so? Surprisingly, this is fantastic as a supplementary deck. So this is a clarifier for me. Once again, this is something I just do at the end of a reading, and I found it just spot on. When it just you're just like, wow, okay, I was using you with probably the intention of discarding you. Let's be real. I was thinking, oh, I'm going to get rid of you. And then no, you ended up surprising me. So these are the backs, and every time I see that, I just think of Pickle Rick. But it's kind of cute. They're so small, and that's one thing that did bother me. Why so big when so small? Especially when small amount could have fit in a smaller book and just been a thicker book. So this, why? But it's also in Roman numerals, and I really dislike Roman numerals, but yeah, I don't care. I'm actually keeping this deck. This is such a small deck. I think it's only like 22 cards. It's something ridiculously itty bitty. And that's why I was like, I'm just going to get rid of it. I'm kind of annoyed at myself for having spent so much money. But then when I used it, it works, and I'm like, God damn it. It actually bloody works for me. And I can't get rid of a deck that works for me. Like, I do like the artwork. I actually wish in this case the cards were bigger. This is one of those few cases where I wish there was a bigger card so I can more clearly see the image, because first glance, this looks like a candle with an orange on top, and then you're like, oh no, that's a dancing woman. So I actually do wish the cards were at least tarot sized, in this one, so I could see more of the intricacies of the imagery. But yeah, when I was using it, it works for me. So, you know, when something works, it works. I love the dinosaur and that. I just really like that. Just that appeals to the kid inside me. Have I tried any of the recipes? No. Like, what's this one? I love the honey ones. Will I try the recipes? Probably not. This is cold brewed cacao. Probably not. Like some of the, look, there's not just recipes to eat, like Ceridwen's Brew of Inspiration. That sounds amazing, but I'm not going to brew a beer. The cold brew cacao, maybe I might make that. So there's food, but there's also like a floral honey scrub, you know, and a cleaning product, and there's fruit wine. So look, these sound amazing, but I know myself and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But I love, like I said, this whole deck is based on like the idea of fermentation and sort of almost alchemy, turning one thing into another with the use of other ingredients. And I appreciate that. So yeah, I am keeping this deck because it just, every time I brought it out to layer it on a reading, it worked. It just worked really well. And I liked it. You know, I just got a good vibe. I got good energies from this deck. So the Hidden Cosmos is staying in my collection. Okay, so now we've got this bag here. So I don't like this button, but I'm trying to use all the buttons I have ups before I start making my own, you know? So I'm like, it'll do. And this is in Crunch Stitch, and you're probably like, that doesn't look like Crunch Stitch. Hold my poodle. That's because I did it inside out. I sewed it inside out. And once again, my lazy ass did not want to unpick it. So it's obviously gotten flattened because it's been on the inside, but it's meant to have all these little bobbles. But I did it inside out. So this is what it looks like now, which is probably a never seen before stitch because no one does Crunch Stitch and then puts it inside out. But anyway, this is in Knit or Die, which is an Aussie one, and it's the color Bush Regeneration, and it's an 8-ply. And in it, I have my Noisy Museum Tarot. So I edged mine in a green because this deck is just green, 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 super green. And I love it. I bloody love it. I saw this probably on a lot of people's channels. I do remember seeing it on Thea from Garden Goddess, which, oh my God, how do I not know her channel name? I'm sorry, guys. Names don't stick with me for some reason. That's just something that I'm in that way. Garden Goddess Tarot. I think that's what it is. Anyway, and after seeing her one, like I said, I'd seen it other channels, probably saw it on Meg's channel, let's be real. I bit the bullet. I was like, I'm just going to buy it because I think I'll enjoy it. Oh my God. The little kitty, even though this one is one of those weird ones because like these guys are so modern and that's not. And I really like it. It's very moody, you know, it's not fun time deck for me, but I like the readings. They're very poignant, like they hit, they've got depth to them. I love the imagery. So for most of the cards, I really like it. There's a few that I don't like, but majority of this deck is a hit for me. Like there are some other cards too, which have a much lighter color scheme than the rest of the moodiness, but it's on Game Crafters linen, which is fine. They did say that it smells like celery, and I agree with that comment. I think it does smell like celery, but it shuffles beautifully. It's very lush, it's decadent, it's rich, and the readings are very similar in that way. I don't love having elemental symbols because I know that is water, but like it takes my brain a second. There is a delay. There is a lag. There is a buffering that goes on. And I'm like, okay, earth, you know, like for me to translate it to the suit. So I know aesthetically though, that's pleasing. You know, that is nice. It's unobtrusive and it does look nice. It does suit the vibe of the deck, but it just means I've got to deal with my own brain having to, you know, rev up, you know, get into gear to process it. But yeah, I have had a blast with this deck and I absolutely love it. So I probably might even check out more of the creators' other decks in the future. I know that I've seen a few of them, so I might have a peruse and see if any of the others speak to me. But this one, out of all of them, was the one that was like, yes, please, try me first. And I'm glad I did. So I have absolutely had a blast with this deck. The only downside is, I have to mention, no guidebook. I would have bloody loved a guidebook. I know not many people want to make them now that I have written my own guidebook for my next Oracle deck. Oh, I understand why. Like, I get it. I get why you don't want to write one. But even just a sentence, I would have loved this creator just to write a sentence, you know. But it's okay. But you know, I'm just being extra demanding. You know, I just want more. It's so good. I'm doing a bit of a please, sir, can I have some more moment. Okay, so next up, we've got this little baggie here. So I'll bring it up close. You can see the glittery button. This is in Hedgehog Fibers 8-ply in Suzette stitch, and the color is called Insomnia. And in here, I've got my Disco Rocks deck. As you can see, that's why I went for the color scheme. And I edged this one in a pink and a purple and an orange. But you can't tell because it doesn't absorb very well, this one. So this is my Make Playing Cards copy, but I created this deck because someone wanted to see how I make my decks. And at that point, I hadn't done a Game Crafters deck. I thought I want to at least have done one so I can also talk about them, because I'd only used 2 other companies at that point. So I went and made this with Game Crafters, but they were taking forever, so I ordered one with Make Playing Cards on their linen stock, because I love their linen stock. But I will not be using Make Playing Cards in the future. They're just too bloody expensive, guys. Just Game Crafters has them like beat by a mile when it comes to price, and their linen cardstock is still great. And I ended up ordering this in their non-linen cardstock though, because I made them smaller for Game Crafters. I think I made them bridge sized, and I didn't want them to be too modeled. I wanted the picture to be clearer. But that was fun. That was a good experience. This was a deck that I made very quickly. I used the subject matters that I'd already done for my other Oracle deck that I'm making. So, you know, the themes of the cards are already done, so I just transplanted them onto here, except I changed some of them into the major arcana for this deck, so it wouldn't be exactly the same as my Oracle deck. And then I took the associations that I've got in my Oracle deck. So for, you know, Liberate, I had a, you know, Black Rose and Smoky Tourmaline and Scorpio in that card. And then I thought I'll just put those elements on these cards, you know, so it's quick and fast. I put a gemstone, a disco ball, and a flower, and done. I can get it shipped here, and I can make the video because I wanted to not take too long to make the video. And yeah, and this ended up being its own little dude. So I don't know if any other deck creators feel this way, but my decks end up having their own energy all to themselves. Like, it's like when you have a child, you put all the ingredients together, but that doesn't mean it's going to come out exactly how you thought it was going to come out. You know, children are their own beasts, and decks in the end are their own beast. They just form their own personality, and it might not be the one that you originally thought your deck would have. I don't know if it's just a me thing, but I found that with this one, I was like, oh, hello, nice to meet you. You weren't how I was expecting you to be, but I'm happily surprised. So I do love playing with this deck. I actually had a great time. I love particularly using it as the ribbon on the present, you know, the final bit tying the reading all together. I find too, when you have decks that have multiple keywords, there's always one keyword in particular that stands out to me. And I like the colors. It's very vibrant. I'm a big, you know, black with bright colors kind of girl. That tends to be my jam. So it does end up going with a lot of my decks, which was fun. And like I said, I've got my Game Crafters version of this, but this is just the Make Playing Cards one, because that's the one I quickly grabbed. But yeah, it was interesting to see how it all turned out, and I've had a ball with it. I absolutely love how my backs came out. Like, I'm obsessed with that. I love disco balls and labradorite and pansies. But yeah, this was a bit of fun, and this was a quick do up, and then little disco balls has its, you know, little place in my collection now. And the last deck that I have for this month. So my daughter wanted to pick a button, so I let her pick a button. It's not the button I would have picked, I'm going to say. It's not the button I would have picked, but she really wanted to, and who am I to say no to my youngest baby? So this is once again in Feather Stitch. It's just such a cozy, it's so lush and cushy, and I'm such a tactile person in that way, and I just love how soft it is. And This is Great Southern Yarn. Before they went out of business, I went and bought pretty much like one of each of all of their colors, you know. So I was like, I'm going to buy everything you have, because yeah, you're going out of business, and that really sucks, because I absolutely love Great Southern Yarn. They were amazing. Their yarns are just freaking stunning. So this is in the color Reader in 8 ply, but like I said, I don't know if you can get them anymore. There might be some websites that still have some in stock. So in here I have my Thistledown deck. So as you can see, I went with that like kind of, I try to match this tealy kind of color, but I didn't have the exact thing. And this was a pre-order. So most of the cards in this deck are either in this blue color scheme or in this sort of russet sienna color scheme. So it's the two colors that are the most prevalent in this deck. I love the illustration style. So I don't have any of the creators' other decks. I've only got this one. And I like that it's got a single keyword on there, so you can use it intuitively. The guidebook is digital only, and I have printed it out, but to be honest, it's not amazing. You know, it's just very simple. Like what you think would be the write up for control is a write up for control. This is the yes and the no cards. So blue is no for me, and this little dude is yes. So I do have it printed in here because yeah, I'm not someone that ever wants to go onto the internet or their PC to like look up a guidebook. It's just not fun for me. So I've printed it out, so it's in there. I'm not a fan of the cardstock. So it is so thick, and it is matte, but it feels cardboardy. So I don't love it. I don't know, it's weird. I don't know why. I'm so averse to the sensation of this cardstock, but I just am. And it's just less fun for me to like kind of shuffle, I guess, as well. And yeah, I'm going to admit, I haven't really super bonded to this deck. Like, it is beautiful. I love the imagery. It is stunning. I love the little creatures and the settings that they're in. And I like the warm and cold color scheme, you know, with the cool blues and the warm browns. I like that. So I don't know. Every reading I've had, like, it's been okay. But I haven't loved it. I think maybe I might just need to find it one partner to use it with. It might be one of those decks. It's happened to me before where when I just try to use them, generally they're all meh, but then I'll find one deck that it just sings with. And I'm like, okay, you're meant to be in a monogamous pairing, you know? So I'm going to have to work with this one a little bit more, because yeah, at the moment I am not just besotted with it. It's out of all of my decks that I got this month, it's probably the one it is the one I've liked the least, but I'm not moving it on. Like, the quality is beautiful. I just don't know why I just don't like this cardstock. I guess I don't tend to not like really thick cardstocks in general. But yeah, so we'll see how it goes. I think too, the fact it didn't have its own perfect bound like guidebook was a bummer, because I hate having my like real, what do you call that? Homemade job, real homemade version, you know. It's not polished, it's not refined, but we'll see. So I will be having to do a bit more work with this. I'd also think maybe this will be better used in autumn. Maybe I might really vibe with the energy of this deck when I'm feeling that season. This is the extra thistle card, which for me just means that everything's going to work out perfectly. So that's the meaning that I've associated with this. Like, every little thing will be all right. It's all working out to plan. It's going to be sweet. So yeah, I'm going to put it away for a while, and then when autumn comes again for us, because we're in spring now, I will play with it and pair it with some of my other tarots and see if I can find a perfect pairing. I do have coming the Victorian Fairy Tarot, which I'm thinking may be a vibe. I'm thinking maybe they might like each other, but yeah, it kind of made me a little sad, because I was like really looking forward to it. And then it came, and I'm like, why don't I love this? Like, what's the disconnect? I don't know, but we shall see. We shall see if it is meant to be. Oh, I should also mention it also came with these. So these cards have one sentence for each of the cards. So most of the time, I just read the one sentence now instead of the book, because it's the main meat of the message. But yeah, so that is everything for this month of September. Until next time, stay wild, Star Child.